Welcome to Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. Emma Stone will join an elite group of Saturday Night Live hosts who've been asked to host 5 times. The group is known as the Five Timers Club. Other celebrities who have hosted 5 times include Tina Fey, Melissa McCarthy, Tom Hanks, and Steve Martin. SNL usually gives special Five Timers Club jackets to hosts. Singer-songwriter Noah Kahan will be the musical guest when Stone takes the stage. George Brown, a co-founding member and drummer of the group Kool and the Gang, has died. Brown died after a battle with cancer. The soul and funk musician was 74 years old. In 1964, Brown and several others started making music under several group names. In 1969, Kool and the Gang was born. They are one of the longest-running R&B groups in history. Brown co-wrote many of the band's iconic disco-era songs, including Ladies' Night. Brown described his music as the sound of happiness. November 20th is Transgender Day of Remembrance. It honors those who have lost their lives to violence and hate. This year's Out 100 is celebrating trans changemakers. Jaya Salua's story partially inspired the new film Next Goal Wins. Jaya is Fa'afafine, which is a person who identifies as a third gender in Samoan culture.
So, where I'm from in American Samoa and in the Pacific region in general, there's a place for Fa'afafine, Le'iti, and Mahu, where culturally recognized we have a role and responsibilities in our families, our villages, and so that was pretty much my upbringing. So it's kind of different to experience Western societies and how they portray the trans identity.
Download the Advocate Channel app to watch exclusive Out 100 coverage, including backstage footage and red carpet interviews. Starting November 24th through the 26th, watch the Out 100 Special Marathon, streaming live on advocatechannel.com and the Advocate Channel app. Emma Corrin's latest role is going to send some chills down your spine. They play Detective Darby Hart, and they're invited to a billionaire's house in A Murder at the End of the World. Of course, there's a murder, and it's up to Darby to solve it. Corrin says this series arrives at the perfect time.
Well, I want to congratulate you on this massive role in A Murder at the End of the World. And I want to begin by asking you a little bit about this idea of Darby, who is a sleuth, but also kind of learning forensic science, and isn't as removed as maybe some professionals think they should be. And there's a lot more empathy with Darby, and I wonder if you would talk about that, the inability to remove themselves from, the kind of horror that they're looking at.
Yeah, I think it was one of the things that really drew me to the script was the fact that Darby's a very refreshing person to have at the helm of a detective story, because she is like flawed and figuring it out for herself and lost most of the time, as we all are. Yeah. And she has these moments where she's, on top of the world and, in her element, but also she has these moments of vulnerability and where she needs help and is very vocal about that, or like aware of that. And I think that's a really refreshing thing to see in anyone leading a series, let alone like a detective. And I feel like we're used to seeing the trope of sort of like hardy, thick-skinned, nothing can hurt me, I am invincible, and jaded and all this stuff. So that really resonated with me, and it's very human, but that's very Britain's Isle as well. They just have this way of really tapping into the center of human stories and telling them with a great deal of pathos, which is interesting when approaching this genre.
Yeah, wonderful. And also, it's announced pretty much from the start when Darby's reading from the book, this kind of emphasis on these murders of women that I think as a society, we've often just come to be like, that happens. But I love that Darby is really leaning into that and calling that out. And would you touch on that kind of aspect of the series, that it's leaning into something that I think is widely not spoken about?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I hadn't really ever realized the extent to which there are so many unnamed dead and how many of those are women across the world, but in the United States especially. And I think that in that way, Darby becomes the voice for the voiceless. And with her strange upbringing in morgues, with her working alongside her father, sort of almost feels like this mission has been bestowed on her to not leave anyone behind. And it's a very noble quest, and I think very sobering to, certainly for me, to read more about when I was looking into it. Yeah, it makes for a really biting current, sort of beating heart to the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder, without giving it away, I think that there's something really particular about the setting, which is it's very isolated, and then there's some grief involved, and it feels very of the moment to be coping with isolation and grief, or this kind of stark setting. And could you touch on the role of grief in this series?
Yeah, I think the kind of grief that Darby encounters is so interesting, because I mean, I think there's the one kind of grief which we've just spoken about, where she's constantly mourning these women who she's being confronted with when she's growing up. She grows up alongside all these women who've been forgotten, and somehow she's still there. And then she's, you know, reunited with the love of her life, and then loses him and is thrown into that kind of grief, but a grief that she doesn't feel like, she doesn't know whether she can grieve because they haven't seen each other in so long. And so that's also strange. And I think through her grief and throughout the series, she's forced to realize that she may have let this person down quite considerably when they were together and when they were younger. And I think it's a very realistic portrait of grief, which isn't sugar-coated and isn't purely one-dimensional.
Could you talk about the setting as a character in the series?
Sure. For us, the sort of tundra, the Icelandic tundra or Scandinavian tundra, it's sort of treeless because there's this wind that goes across the island. So there are no trees really, and there's no soil. You know, it's volcanic rock under there. So that felt like it was Darby's interior landscape externalized. And then the desert landscapes in Moab and Utah, where we shot, were also Darby's internal landscapes. So the tundra and the desert were connected, but in the past, it's sun-drenched and sweaty, and in the present, it's frozen and stark. And I think it represents her emotional states in both stories. In the past, she's falling in love, and in the present, she's really sort of contending with the chaos and the unraveling of the world. And our story was about braiding these two places that are deeply connected through their barrenness, and about Darby sort of melting some of that ice by solving her own mystery.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for that. And Britt, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Clive's character and this notion of the genius tech billionaire who's going to save us all, or thinks that they will, and the inclusion of this kind of character in your story.
Yeah, I mean, I think we actually, in large part, have some of Hollywood filmmaking and storytelling to thank for this idea of the sort of lone hero who's going to appear on the horizon line, potentially with a cape, you know, and rescue us from all of our stuff. But I think in truth, like, solving some of the things that we're facing, whether that's the climate crisis or the unravel of democracy or any of the things that we're dealing with now on a day-to-day basis, the only real thing to meet that is collective power and collective action. And so I think sometimes we get stuck on the idea that we're just waiting for somebody to come to the rescue, when actually, if we can sort of authorize ourselves to have the agency and the energy and to not feel impotent, you know, in the face of all these things, that actually there's a lot we can do when we band together.
A Murder at the End of the World is available to stream on FX and Hulu. You can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.